Right. So thank you, Luigi, for the kind words, which I don't think I deserve, but I'll take it anyway. As I got up this morning, as I usually do, around 5:30 in the morning, and instead of going to the gym and pounding my frustrations out for the day before, I just started walking up the mountain, enjoying the absolute gorgeous beauty, as the deputy mayor said, of the city, the lake, the mountain, breathing the cool, crisp mountain air, looking at this beautiful architecture of these houses, with various styles, and I'm thinking about it. And as I was walking down the mountain, at that time the sun started coming out. You could see the shimmering waters, the lake, and the sun falling on the rocks, rocky face of San Salvatore. And I thought, I've had this profound sense of gratitude. Who the heck am I? A simple immigrant from India who who grew up under some difficult circumstances, who went to the US and got breaks and opportunities because other people were kind to me at a time when I struggled. And here I am with some great friends on a very crisp, beautiful morning in a beautiful setting to be here to enjoy this day with some colleagues to talk about happiness. That sense of gratitude is something we often forget, that the breaks we get, the opportunities we get in our life is something that we don't always have time because we are so busy to remind ourselves of. So as a director of the Lee Kum-Shung Center for Health and Happiness, I first want to start with that sense of gratitude, sense of thanks. This is unusual in the sense usually we thank people at the end of a meeting, at the end of a conference. As some of you who have seen me talk in the past know, I start with that expression of gratitude all the time. And that's what I want to do today. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the hospitality of your beautiful, gorgeous city. A number of us have been talking about it. I have been coming to Lugano for almost 15, 20 years now. I lost count. My friend and colleague, Professor Schultz, I don't know whether Peter is here or not, there he is, has invited me some time ago. We have built a great collaborations, and it never ceases to amaze me. Coming out of that long tunnel, out of Bellinzona in the train, entering Lugano, and thinking, this is great. I am home. I have arrived. I am here. Those are not my words, but the words of the great Vietnamese monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, who expressed the same sentiment, being cognizant of where we are and conscious of where we are at every given moment. So thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the hospitality the city has offered us. I also want to thank the director of IBSA Foundation. Again, thank you for lending Dr. Misichi to us. She's a force of nature, as you will realize, as you already know, and all the support IBSA Foundation has lent us. So thank you so much for doing that. I also want to thank a few other people here, the director of the Lugano Cultural Center, LAC, as you call it, for lending this gorgeous space for us. I hopefully you will be paying attention to the speakers, not to this great setting. Now you can pay attention to it. I'm not saying anything important here, But also to the Dean of the University, Professor Dean Petrozzini. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing names here. And Director Boni of the Lugano region. who have welcomed us, whose hospitality we value, we cherish, and we are grateful for. More important, there are three groups of people I really, really want to thank. As one of our former secretaries of state said, it takes a village to do anything. You know, Hillary Clinton said this. I think she even wrote a book about it. And it's not that it's her original phrase. It's a phrase that has been coming down for a while, but she kind of amplified it. It does take a village to organize a meeting like this. It's just not easy. There are just so many people worked so hard behind the scenes to do this. First, I think they have been already thanked. Sarah, Jacopo, you guys are awesome. They deserve a round of applause. I'm saying one more round of applause. You won't believe how many emails Sarah and Jacopo have been sending me, which I ignored, right? But they have great patience and the amount of work that is required. And the speakers know this, right? So, members of Luigi's team, Isabella, I think, if she is here or not, so if not, thank you for doing that. I think, your hospitality counts a lot. I think the patience with which you dealt with all the logistical issues is something we value. I'm thankful for, grateful for. I want to know what he's saying later, I also want to thank my team, people back at Harvard. Here I am gallivanting around the world, but they have been working behind the scenes to deserve special mention here. Our research associate, Dr. Laura Marciano. Laura, stand up, you don't hide there, so. Laura came to me through Professor Schultz. We have been working together. We were introduced to the IBSA Foundation and Luigi and others. We had a great conversation in this restaurant in Cambridge, which spawned a series of conversations and meetings. And here we are, all those plans years ago. Also thank Anuba Tyagi, the assistant director of the center. Anuba, Anuba has been, I travel all over the world with my meetings. She's the one who's holding fort back home, working away. And three people, I already mentioned Professor Schultz, whose friendship matters a lot to me. It's collegiality, who's my connection to Lugano. And then two special people who are not taking any credit, but who deserve the credit. My friends, Luigi and Sylvia, they are, as I said, forces of nature. They are very gentle, very calm, but they get the job done. Gentle, but persuasive, persistent, very tenacious. They're always smiling. I don't know how, but they do this. They do this work. It's just incredible. I cannot thank you enough for doing this, And I also lastly want to thank the speakers who are amazing. When we asked you to come, you were great. You actually responded, to our messages, and and the response is affirmative, which is even better. So thank you for coming and going to sharing your thoughts with us over the next couple of days. As I was thinking about it, as we talk about this notion of happiness, what is it we want to discuss over the next few days? When the dean of the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health about 7 years ago asked me to take over the Center for Health and Happiness, the Lee Kum-Shung Center for Health and Happiness, and I'm profoundly grateful to the Lee Kum-Shung and family in Hong Kong. Anybody who has cooked any Chinese food should know they use their sauces, you know. So they very generously endowed this center at Harvard. And the dean asked me, so please be a co-director of the center. I said, what do I know about happiness? You know, all I know is, you know, I'm a social justice researcher. I do work on equity and communications. This is what I do around health communications and equity. And as Luigi said, around issues of poverty and how to address them. You know, what can I say? And that's exactly what we want. We want your, you know, you to bring a different perspective and getting it off the ground in building a center that can not just attract attention, but also can make some contributions to the field in a way that has not been done before. And I agreed. I thought I'll do it for a couple of years, launch the center, which is what I do. I launch centers and then I go on with my life. But somehow here I am, 7 years later, still running the center. And as I've thought about it, one of the things, you know, that really you know, has been on my mind for a long time because of the work I do. And I mentioned this to Professor Halliwell, who we invited. He's the lead editor for the World Happiness Report, but that's not the only issue. We invited Dr. Halliwell to talk about translation. He's an economist, but he's a different kind of an economist when he, you know, he's so broad in his views. And we were talking about translation. You know, how long does it take research discovered in controlled research settings to be translated to influence practice and policy? The last time we looked it up, it is 17 years. 17 years to translate research to influence practice. And only 14% of that research is translated. In 2024, can we afford that? Can we afford to pursue our science in our labs, in our controlled settings, without paying attention to the people around us, to the citizens, the taxpayers, the residents, to whom we have an obligation so that they can benefit from the fruits of the research we do? So that's, you know, as a thought about that, you know, so what do we need to do this translation? And how do we make sure that everybody benefits from this translation, not just some people, right? And that's what we have done with the center. The center is very different in many ways because it's not just doing research about happiness individually, but how do we take the science of happiness to the science of translation and ensure through communications that everybody benefits. People who are not in this room today here, right? So that's what we have been focusing on. And as we discussed with Sylvia and Luigi and Laura and others, said, you know, what we need is a dialogue where we have practitioners, policymakers, people, and, you know, politicians, you know, and of course researchers come together in a safe environment like a conference. This dialogue, and actually a dialogue in English, if I understand, it's not my native language, but if I understand, is about respectfully having a conversation. And my hope is that's what we will do over the next couple of days. Have that conversation from these multiple perspectives by people from multiple sectors, practice, policy, and research coming together to do this. So that's our hope over the next 2 days. To the speakers, no pressure on you, okay? All right. So having said that, I'm also conscious of the time here. I want to make sure we are doing this. So I will go ahead and introduce, we can start, right? You know, so I'll go ahead and introduce the next speaker. I know Luigi was talking about me. I was so embarrassed. There's nothing about me because the next speaker is just incredible. Dr. Julianne Holt Lunsted.